Episode 202 is in the books. Another great conversation with one of my best friends, 25 years strong. You know what? It feels weird calling you my best friend because you're more like my brother, as much crap as we talk to each other. So I feel like brother's a more appropriate reference. But yeah, man, this was a good one. Again, we try to stick to our topics.
We did sometimes we get carried away and like topics drag on a little longer than they should.
But I like that though, because like it fleshes out more of our train of thought and not just be like, oh, these are only, because like if we try, sometimes I feel like if we try to stick to our topics too much, things get left out and things get left unsaid. We're like, oh man, we could have touched on this. That would have been.
Well, there's nuance. Everything has nuance. So that's why we get carried away, because we get into the weeds of that nuance.
Yeah. And we try not to do the first take thing. So it's always, you know what I mean? Like, oh, say everything you think in 3 minutes. That's impossible. That's not how as humans, it's not how we work. But I mean, it was a great conversation. We covered Simone Biles. We capped that, right? So Simone Biles, 400-meter hurdles, talked the Little Olympics, ScarJo versus Disney. I had to talk about that. And then we started it with the greatest interview of all time that didn't end in a fight.
That's right.
Lane Kiffin and Dan Le Batard.
That's right. I'm not one of the cool kids, so I still call her Scarlett Johansson, aka my future wife. I think Mel already knows about that. She says, "I'll give you a hall pass. We'll get the divorce.
That's my hall pass too.
Make sure you do what you got to do and give us that 50%, and then we'll get back together and retire happily ever after." Before I know this is a recap. Look, if you're listening, wherever you're listening to this, make sure that you catch us on YouTube to actually watch our reactions. It's like that Dan Le Batard interview. Like some things you have to see just to watch the reactions and not to hear it. So catch us on YouTube, Mad Chatter, subscribe, like the video. Same thing, we're on everywhere that podcasts can be found.
We'll definitely, we'll definitely attach that Dan Le Batard interview to our YouTube, as well as everywhere you can find us on Linktree. Sure. Check out, we're wearing our own merch because we do this ourselves, you know what I mean? And we try to make this thing grow, man.
This is the old school one, OG.
Yeah. The newer version right here is the bourbon infused tea out on our Teespring, man. But yeah, look, I love this show, man. I love doing this. We definitely should have done more while your wife was away. But hey, we got
a week. She comes back next Wednesday, so I expect to do 20 more pods.
At least, we'll do 21-minute pods. How about that? All right, guys, enjoy the show. As always, after this, you'll hear that Ann House intro. Peace. Yo, what are you doing right now?
The big V. Look, man.
All right, man. Let's just jump right into this shit.
I made my wife wake up and drive me there anyway. Is it major?
Pues algo eso. Pues algo en español.
¿Qué pasó, papá? ¿Cómo estás? Any questions?
Now, when you bought that sweater, right? You just go, fuck it. I'm going full Mr. Rogers. You've tuned into the Mad Chatter podcast. Yeah, man. So we back at it again. Episode over 200. We've done so many now. 202. We've done so many now, and some that will never see the light of day. I've kind of lost count. Yeah, man. So what's going on, my brother? How you been, man?
I've been good. Has it been a week? Has it been a week? Every time we ask each other this question every time.
We don't talk every single day.
Yeah, right.
Like we don't talk every single day, every minute. Send each other a bunch of links. Like what?
Well, that's the thing. We send each other like topics on what we're going to talk about, and then we're like, wait, was that a WhatsApp conversation or was that a podcast that we did?
Especially when we send voice messages back and forth, it kind of does feel like one day we should like send each other the audio clips. Probably not. Probably some things that we don't want aired out.
There's probably some things that we don't want to put out on the pod. You wanted to just make a compilation of the audio clips and that'll be the podcast?
Yeah, exactly.
Like story time with Mad Chatter.
Exactly. But the thing is, we're trying not to cuss anymore. So all 98% of those voice clips are cuss words.
Yeah. I don't know how we actually have conversations, really.
I don't know how here's the crazy thing about it. Like sending each other so many voice clips and talking all the time. I don't know how we also then have an hour plus to talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay. What's something that we
remind each other?
Yeah. What's something that we didn't already tell each other? So I have like, cheers, my brother, to have an actual genuine conversation. I'll be like, oh, these are the things I said. And you know what I mean? So then it won't feel like lines.
Yeah. We try to keep it fresh And Snowball, obviously, he tries to keep it fresh because he knows exactly when to bark.
Snowball definitely stays on the show. He should have his own podcast. Snowball's Life.
Listen, man, I apologize because I was late to our recording for the first time in a while. It's usually you.
Always.
And Mel's been gone for a while, a little over a week and a half now. And so it's just me and the dogs. And like they know you know what it was? I sent you a message today, right? I was like, hey, I gotta go for a run, so let's make it 19:30. Mm-hmm. One of these dogs must have looked at the text and read it, and then they got together and they said, all right, like at 1928, we're gonna annoy him, and we gotta do our thing. We're gonna have to go to the backyard and take care of our business. And that's exactly what they did. It was like Mekhi Phifer from 8 Mile, when he goes DJ, spin that. One of them was like, all right, spin it, let's go.
Shook ones played. Oh, that was do you ever go unrelated, or related to what you just said? Do you ever go back and watch like the battles on YouTube? I do that from time to time.
Oh, the time.
Dude, he
shouldn't have made it past one of those rounds, by the way.
No, he definitely lost. He definitely lost to Marv 1. No, he lost to Lotto. He lost to Lotto.
I thought Lotto got him for sure.
I thought Lotto too, yeah. I feel bad I got to murder that dude from Leave It to Beaver. That's a hell of a line, yo. That's a hell of a line.
You can't come back from that.
No, you can't. It's over. Ward, I think you were a little hard on the Beaver. So was Eddie Haskell, Wally, and Miss Cleaver.
And Miss Cleaver.
Oh, dude. I remember that. Oh, man. So, yeah, your wife's been out of town. My wife was gone over the weekend to the in-laws for my mother-in-law's birthday. I was up here taking care of my neighbor's house and taking care of the dog. My dog also knew right before I had to hit record because at 7:28 or 19:28, he started wanting to wrestle. Like for some reason, my dog watches a lot of UFC, so he thinks he could do it.
Wow. So he's a pit, so
yeah, no, he wants to wrestle. So we were over there. He's always trying to bite. Like, hey man, stop with the biting. But I'm also still trying to choke him out. It's like, yo, you might wrestle, but I'm Khabib with this. Better watch your back, homie.
I mean, I think you got to choke him out. That's the only way you can keep him under wraps.
Yeah, 100%.
He's a big boy.
Yeah, I gotta do it like the female champion Mensa Stock for wrestling. I just hold on and ride the side, man. So shout out to her though. That's first Black woman ever to win gold in the Olympics. Before we get to our Olympics, I mean, that's big. See, almost did it. That's pretty huge.
Hey, there's certain stuff that I follow, and Olympic wrestling is not one of them. Even though something came across the timeline about a Cuban wrestler who was the 4th Olympics.
Yes,
the dude's got to be 87 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Greco-Roman
There's no birth
wrestling
certificate in Cuba.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and it's the 4th Olympics in a row. I mean, you got to be able to be in 4 Olympics.
At least 20 years. Well, 16 years.
Yeah.
16 years. That's what. So let's say he started at 16 or 20. Very the fact if he would.
I don't know. I mean, he could have said he was 16, but he was really 24 in Cuban years, right? No birth certificates.
Oh, Daniel Monte.
Dominican baseball players.
Daniel Monte.
Yeah, Daniel Monte. Hey, you were reading my mind. Yeah,
bro. That's right. That's pulling one out the bag of history on that one. But yeah, man, it's good to get back on here, bro. What? So it's crazy, right? I'm realizing now. Remember, I had 4 Roses. This is a quick bourbon talk. I had 4 Roses the first time. I didn't like it at all. This is the second time I've had it. I like it a lot more now. 4 Roses single barrel because I know we were talking offline that you got to get a new bourbon. I would try this one, or if you can find it, I don't know if you guys have Total Wine up there. I would do a Clyde Mays 6-year. Do you have Total Wine up there?
I don't even know. I just go to liquor stores. I'm sure we do.
I mean,
you don't even need to say hey, quick little bourbon talk. I mean, it's Whiskey Wednesday, so
it is Whiskey Wednesday.
It's not let's make a 30-second segment for
what's crazy?
Bourbon or whiskey talk.
I can't remember the last time we hit record on a Wednesday, on a legit Wednesday.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? It's been a minute. Yeah, I'm wearing the new bourbon infused T-shirt available at our store. You're wearing the OG Whiskey Wednesday shirt.
OG. That's right.
OG Whiskey Wednesday shirt. We did some updating to it up on our Manchester store at a Teespring. Yeah, man. Well, dude, this one has grown on me, and it's weird because when I remember the podcast. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this one. It was a little bit too weeded, a little bit too heavy, but now, especially having tried other weeded bourbons, definitely a fan of it, man. Definitely like it.
Yeah, I mean, weeded bourbons are usually the ones that are easier, smoother to go down because of that wheat content. So That's why I'm a fan of Maker's 46, which is this is the last drop of it. So I need to go get something else. Maybe the one you recommended. Definitely need to go get a 1920, the Old Forester.
Yes,
stronger.
Yes.
It's got more bite to it. I've had it before, but I haven't, like had a bottle, so I need to have that in my house.
Yeah, I think you should have. Not you should. You can do whatever the hell you want, but you should try and have at least 2 bourbons on reserve, like that you could switch between. Like I haven't had Eagle Rare in probably 3 months, and I still have that bottle. Especially like seeing my friend's bourbon, where like he doesn't drink the same bourbon all the time. Obviously, I'm not at that tax bracket where you have like an accountant to give you like loopholes. I'm not there, but like seeing that, I was like, okay, you could just rotate. You don't have to drink the same one to the finish. That's why Mel always gets. I'm like, but you already have all these bourbons. Like, yeah, but I like to rotate them. I don't like to drink them all. It's not like I'm drinking out the bottle. You know what I mean? I put a straw and I'm just drinking straight out the bottle. Like I like to rotate them. Try to have different tastes for different nights. So yeah, that's been cool though. Yeah, definitely like this one. Big fan of it. Now,
yeah, I'm down to like a quarter of the bottle left of my Old Forester, so I'm running low. So I need to buy a couple new bottles.
So I would say buy the Old Forester 1920 because it gives you a nice bite, and I would try this 4 Roses single barrel. Like it's again, I'm not gonna recommend anything to you that's ridiculously priced. I got this 4 Roses single barrel at Walmart Liquors. I mean, I think it was like $39.99. Like it wasn't that expensive. And then the 1920 was a little bit, maybe like 42. Well, for the 1920 Old Forester, maybe a little less. I haven't bought it again. I probably will add it back to the repertoire, but it's definitely good, man. Just to have a couple different ones on rotation. Because we don't. It's not like
your SAT word of the day, repertoire.
Repertoire. Don't ask me to spell it. I don't know. It's like REPERTO.
REPtoire.
REPtoire. Yeah. I think it's REPERTOIRE. That's what I got. I think that's right. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's like restaurant. RES is some comic does some lines like REST. Patrice. Patrice. Like spell restaurant to save your mother's life. REST.
Mom, I love you.
Come on, man. Mom, you know I love you.
Yeah.
Spell restaurant. Yeah. All right, let's stay on track.
Yeah, we could do a whole Patrice thing. But yeah, man, speaking of the funniest stuff, because again, we've seen in a while. I want to give a shout out to, I think, one of the best interviewers of all time, funniest interviewers, because he just doesn't care. He just wants to talk about what he wants to talk about.
Yeah.
Dan Le Batard had an interview today with Lane Kiffin, and let me tell you something. I listened to it because you recommended it. I listened to it when I was driving, and I laughed out loud several times. Now, obviously, we're not going to play the whole thing because we're trying to get I'm going to say it again on the pod. I'm trying to get a job with Meadowlark Media. You know what I mean? Like, if they want bad takes like Amino Hassan, we got them. Just holler at us. I said that.
That's right. Hey, by the way, Amin did a whole thing where he went to Milwaukee.
Yeah.
To McGillicuddy's.
Yes.
And he got dunked into like ice cold water.
Yep.
So I had that playing in the background. He got drunk out of his mind too.
Yeah.
Beer shots.
And then back in the ice. I watched that actually.
It was a good sport. That's good.
Yeah, I actually played it. It actually played after the Lane Kiffin thing, but I was like, I don't want to watch this. So like I didn't want to like listen to it. I wanted to watch it, so I'm definitely gonna watch it. Probably tomorrow. Tonight. It's not gonna happen. But yeah, man, pull up that Lane Kiffin with the greatest the quote of it was who wants to get in brown water?
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know what it's an 18-minute interview, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know where in the
you can put it towards the
actual interview it is.
You can put like in the last 2 minutes. Yeah, it was like the last 2 minutes. Because that was like the overarching conversation. It was about like from Boca Raton to Oxford, Mississippi. Shout out to Oxford, Mississippi, where my boy Kobe and Jonathan live. I guess I know some Mississippians. Mississippites?
I don't know. I'll put in the last like 3.5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know what? The thing I like the fact that they're no longer with ESPN.
Yep.
Because they have that freedom to kind of really take their show. You know, their show is never about sports, right?
Never.
That's the funny part about that show. It's a sports show that's not about sports. They talk about everything else, whether it's the politics, the social issues.
They get to know the people.
Just the ridiculous things. The fact that they get to have a show where they talk about people who play for $20 million a year.
Yep.
So, you know, and a lot of people would like hate watch it or hate listen to it. Yep. You know, it's like, what are you doing? Like, let me hear my talk. Like, I want to hear that there was something in Charlotte, something, and the Four Horsemen. Let me hear about like the draft. Talk to me about like, you know, the details and the stats and that's
they don't do that.
Other concerns. They don't do that.
No, I actually like that because there's a billion other shows that break down what the passing percentage is of Patrick Mahomes on 3rd and 6. You know what I mean? There's plenty of, but like nobody knows like what Patrick Mahomes like stuff does on the side, like behind, you know what I mean? Like behind closed, not behind closed doors, but like what he's into, what his likes. No, what his likes and this. Like I know he just had a baby. You know what I mean? Like, and I know because of Dan Le Batard showing like them putting him out there. Like I know his wife is into like fitness, is started like her own fitness company. But like I like to know like the people because it humanizes them, right? Like because when all we see, which it'll lead to, all we see is like the money they make. We have this thing. We're like, oh, they're not like us. No, man, they have regular problems. And Lane Kiffin versus Brown Water is one of them. Yeah,
is one of them. Yeah. All right, I got it pulled up. Let me see if I can share the screen now on Zoom. Hopefully, you gave me permission to share screen.
Make sure.
Advanced. We're gonna share.
Make sure you got the sound on.
We're going to share a tab.
Oh man, that was the funniest interview, bro. And you know what I like about it too, as you're setting it up, is that it's not just Dan asking questions. Like they rotate. It's like a screen of like a whole bunch of other people, and they rotate other funny questions to ask.
They use StreamYard, by the way.
That's all StreamYard, right? That's so crazy. Yeah. Shout out to StreamYard. I'm gonna have to holler at Mike Ryan. I'm like, yo, man, I like the layout. Very colorful.
Yeah, let me see. I think I got it on here now.
Yep.
Know if you see it.
Yep.
Yeah. No, and I like it. I mean, I like the fact that it's like Billy has the most off the wall questions. Every time he puts like his hand up like this, like he's got the one finger up.
Yeah.
And that's like, yeah, come with it. Because he's got these ridiculous questions.
Yeah.
That have nothing to do with sports. I love it.
It's the greatest. Ads and five. Here we go.
Here we go. It's the last 3.5 minutes or so. Hopefully there's some good stuff in here. Let me know if you hear the sound too.
That's not there. What kind of, I want to know more about the county fair. I want to know more detail.
Get ready for this.
Of course.
Of course an ad.
YouTube ads.
YouTube ads.
I don't pay for premium, you can tell.
Well, nobody does.
Well, as you know, I'm not really politically correct on these answers, so I just tell you the truth. I'm not really a county fair guy. No disrespect to the county fair.
Pause it.
So this is a conversation where he and Mike Leach actually went to like a thing, or it was right after that conversation where they went to like a county fair, or he had to like look to the side actually to one of his guys. So I don't know if you actually saw, if you actually saw this, or if you just only heard it.
Yeah, I only heard it.
Yeah, so he looks over to the side. He's like, was it a county fair or a state fair? And his handler or whatever, someone's like, oh, it was a county fair. So that's where he starts talking about. Like, I'm not a county fair guy. Now, he's coming from Boca, right? He was the FAU coach.
Yes.
For a year, 2 years. And so he's coming from Boca, from beautiful, being on the coast, his house being 5 minutes from the beach, and everything South Florida to, the county
Probably on some kind of inlet to be able to go out to the ocean right from his backyard.
For sure.
And my favorite part is that when he goes, I'm not politically correct about this stuff. I was like, but you're talking about a county fair. Are there a lot of like anti-county fair people? Like, is that a thing that happens?
Well, I mean, if you're in Mississippi, you got to be pro-county fair. I think
you have to be, right?
Like, you can't just be like, I don't like it. And he prefaces that with, I'm not politically correct, which pretty much is the same thing as saying with all due respect, meaning
or
like,
no offense.
I'm about to tell you how much I dislike this crap.
Yeah, 100%. All right, go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead, hit play.
Whole week. It looks wonderful, I'm sure. But that's just really not my baby. Like,
fair enough.
There's no water around, or just like out in the middle everywhere. It's hot as can be all day, and everybody's just staying in these cabins and trailers and stuff. That's just horses. And
would you rather be in a lake or at a county fair?
You'd fit in the South because you just asked a question you totally know the answer to. That's the South thing. Ask the question that you really know the answer to.
I've got so many more questions about voting Lane Kiffin. Are you a yacht rock guy?
So you got to give it a second here because I don't think he heard the question correctly.
Right, he
He
did.
starts answering some question that wasn't even a phantom question.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, all I hear was yacht.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind going on them. Obviously, you know, there's so many right there, and at FAU you get to know a lot of people, and so pretty cool going up and down there.
The music, yacht rock. The music is what I'm asking you about. You said country music.
I'm not cool enough to know what yacht rock is.
Oh, if you're on a yacht, you gotta fire up some Doobie Brothers because there's a whole genre of rock music that's called yacht rock. It's a birthright to go on a yacht and listen to
Mike Ryan.
Mike Ryan was, yes.
And his music, he's a music snob on the show. So
Michael
of course
McDonald
he was gonna
right
bring
there.
up Michael McDonald and the Doobie Brothers.
He's such a Miami guy,
It's been
bro.
a long time since I've heard the fake Michael McDonald.
Oh, he's the voice of yacht rock, Lane. You gotta get into it.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I missed that. I don't really know that. So next time I'm on one, I'll have to have him play it.
You miss Boca?
Yeah, I still have my house there. I was just there 2 weeks ago. So I still have my house there, boat, jet skis in the backyard.
Look at he's reminiscing. He's like blue water. He's all depressed. He's like, and now I'm gonna come back to this brown one. County.
Hey, real quick, if you're watching us, why does Greg Cody look like he's in his closet? Yo, right there in the middle.
Yeah, I don't know.
Somebody got to talk to him.
Somebody's got to tell him about the camera angle, right?
Yeah, man. He's got that old man angle. Just put it in front, bro. Don't look down at it. It's just terrible. All right, finish this off. You got like a minute 20 seconds.
Big fish.
Big fish.
It's what you actually mean. It's the color of the water. Lane, let's just get it out there. I just want it stated flatly instead of all this dancing you're doing in gray or brown area. It's the color of the water that you miss in South Florida, and that's what you miss the most.
I like that color of water. How does that make me bet? You put a pool in your backyard and make it brown? No. So I don't understand wanting to jump in a lake that's brown, but that's just
Right on.
Or to go down on the bottom with your hand and have a catfish bite your hand and noodle it up. I don't really
noodle it up.
This dude was born in Lincoln, Nebraska.
I know.
You want to see what's at the bottom. You want to see what's at the bottom of the water. You don't want to grab something that's got a big mouth and whiskers.
I don't want to put my feet on the bottom of the water, let alone put my hand down there in a
he downgraded it.
Oh my God.
Lane, good talking to you about brown water.
Oh my God, I'm crying.
Guys. See ya.
Jeez.
Oh, that is amazing, man. Oh my God. Oh, that is brown water. It makes all the sense in the world, right? It just you want crystal clear water. Like, yeah, it makes I want to be able to
absolutely.
I want to be able to see it to the bottom. Like if there's a shark down there, I want to know what's happening. Stingray.
What's funny is that he's talking about this lake because that's the lake that's over there Jarvis? In Oxford.
Lake Jarvis, Purchase.
Sardis, something. I thought it was the next. Either way, it was Lake something. He doesn't care too much for it, just like we don't really remember the name. I mean, he cares so much for it that he downgraded. He said lake/pond, so he downgraded it already.
Yep.
This is his new school. He's a head coach at this new school, and he couldn't be less excited about what they have to offer. And it was great because you would be Saban or anyone else would be promoting it like what a great place this is to come and college environment and all this. And I think he said that at the beginning, like it's a good college stop, but like not this brown water. He's like, it's a lake. People are on it. I've never been on it, but it's a lake. He's not selling it very well.
You got a great job of selling it, man. Oh my God. That was amazing, dude. Oh yeah. How many jobs has he had? It's kind of crazy to think of Lane Kiffin. He's had like 8 head coaching jobs.
Yeah, I was
Right,
going
like-
through the rundown. He's had a ton. I don't know how this guy's a blue water guy. He was born in Lincoln, Nebraska,
Yep, no water.
around
Oh,
cornfields, maybe some lakes,
Maybe.
maybe some man-made lakes or ponds.
Yep.
And then he went to FAU, and FAU spoiled him. being in
He went
Boca.
to he was Tuscaloosa, no water. Well, no, Alabama.
It's on the Gulf
Gulf.
Coast. I mean, it's on the
that's
same.
it's not the
It's
same.
got oil water. Like,
Yeah,
come
got-
on, that Pelicans and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
That dude's been
A little dark there. Little dark. Literally. Literally.
Well, it's the truth.
Little dark.
Literally, yeah.
A little dark, yeah.
Petroleum.
I heard Don really cleans off the oil off these birds though, huh? Right? Yeah,
That's what I hear.
yeah. So the drilling is fine. Just get some Dawn soap and they'll be fine. I'm sure doesn't ruin their livelihood in any way. Oh, Jesus.
Right.
So crazy. Oh man. And then what? Oh, he was in LA with the Raiders. Or he was not. He was with the Raiders when they were in Oakland.
Yeah, he was I think he was a Pete Carroll guy first, right? So he was USC.
Yep.
Like he went through, I'm looking at the list right now: tight ends coach, wide receiver coach,
Offensive coordinator. Then he got the Raiders job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And then
Tennessee. Yeah, that was a disaster. Remember that?
oh my god, a year and a half. Maybe.
Then back to SC as head coach.
Yep.
And Bama under Saban for a few years, and then FAU, and now he's at Ole Miss.
Crazy. Hasn't really won anywhere, but he just keeps getting jobs. I respect it. You know what? I'm not gonna knock it. I'm not gonna get in anybody's pockets, man. He has the resume he has because he has it, and getting in people's pockets is not something we do here.
No.
Speaking of
money.
Yeah, speaking of getting in people's pockets, let's just jump into this ScarJo stuff, man. Because I think we've I'm not gonna say we've been anti-Disney because we both have the Disney bundle, right? Like that's not,
Right.
but we've commented in the past about their business dealings. Now, do you want to give people the rundown about the whole ScarJo thing, or you want me to bring it in?
So I mean, she has a contract with Disney, Marvel, Disney, whatever they own it.
Yeah, same company, right? Yeah.
Yeah, same company. Similar contract to a lot of these other actors, where when they get their solo, like this was the Black Widow, so she gets to be featured to lead the movie. And so the contract was that they were going to be distributing to theaters exclusively for X amount of time.
Right.
And I think she was going to be paid 20
20 million base pay, yeah.
Base pay plus, whatever else based on how long it played in theaters. And Disney decided to release it to Disney Plus, I believe 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks after. I think they released it after it was released in theaters.
No, I think they released it at joint. Like if it was in theaters, it was out on Disney Plus.
Was it joint? Jeez.
Yeah, it was joint. So they dropped it the same weekend. Yeah. So that's already problematic.
Wow, I thought they gave her a couple weeks.
No, sir.
So that's even worse because she was supposed to receive, like residuals and a certain amount of like
royalties
or whatever,
yeah,
royalties. And so she is, I believe, suing them because they breached their contract.
Yeah, which she's completely right to do.
It's a great platform for us. I went to watch it in theaters. I wanted that experience.
Yeah,
I mean, we have a nice TV and a nice setup, and
it's just not the same,
in the great room. But I wanted to watch it in theaters. I actually went with my wife and kid and my youngest son, and invited a couple friends to watch it. So
we haven't been to a theater since COVID really hit. We talked about going, but then just like other stuff happened, and we just haven't made the dedication to go.
The jump.
Put
your lives at risk.
Yeah, exactly. Like we still wear masks even though we're vaccinated. Wipes immunocompromised.
CDC says you should be now.
Yeah. I wear it anyway. Like I wear it 80% of my life anyway.
That's what you get for getting the vaccine. You
for work.
Wear a mask.
Yeah, because you.
Who's the winner now?
Okay, I am. You almost cussed. You mother beep. Look, masks don't bother me, right? It's not like the whole compliance thing. Masks have never bothered me at all. I wear masks for work. I've worn masks for work for the last 10 years. You know what I mean? So it's not a big deal. But like it's just like the being around people. Like I've never liked being in groups to begin with, right? But like now that like thinking that these people are like petri dishes of germs, it makes it a little bit more anxiety driven, right? So look, I don't blame Disney for this is where I don't blame Disney for releasing it on Disney Plus, right? Because a business, capitalism is going to capitalize and do what they need to do to make the money. Where the issue is, right? And this is something that I didn't know. I learned today listening to Andrew Schultz, is that Netflix pays you for what you could have made. Like a Ryan Reynolds movie, for example, right? Like let's say his base pay example that they gave was like, let's say his base pay is 10 million, which it probably isn't, because the Deadpool is probably 20, right? 20, and then they pay you what like the movie would have made on the basis of your X amount of movies in the past, right? So let's say you would have made 15 million, then they give you your 35 off top. Like that's you're right there. Like that's what Disney should have done. Again, like we're talking about the biggest company on the planet, right? Like if not one, like put that in with the other MNC, like it's it's worldwide.
We're talking about, here's what Disney is, right? Besides their racist history, their stories they took from the public domain, and turned them into Disney stories.
Yeah.
And once they turn them into Disney stories, all their movies, they lock them in so that they don't get released into the public domain, so other people don't get to use them creatively to form their own versions of it.
Yeah.
Like there's things that are, so that's what Disney is. So
Disney will shut you down if you try.
Are unscrupulous. Like that's what they're about. They're about that money.
Yeah.
But I'm sure someone ran the numbers and they said, you know what? We're better off breaching contract. And not paying her that, because if we put it out here, just like Netflix with their original content, if we release it simultaneously, we're going to generate more subscribers. We're going to grow faster, and that's going to bring us in more money, and it's going to cover, just like pharmaceuticals and cigarette companies and everything else. They're like, well, we'd rather do this and pay the lawsuit,
take the hit
because
we have more money
and the profit we'll make from it. It's worth the cost.
Yeah, we have more money and more lawyers, right? Like that's really because it's gonna be continuances and
they're gonna settle out of court.
They'll settle out of court. She'll get her money. And then what I didn't like was like the Disney response. Again, business is gonna business, right? Where they're like, oh, she made her 20 million. She almost like she should be happy. I'm paraphrasing the statement. She should be happy in this time of the pandemic. You know what I mean? Like blaming and all that. That's a very effective talking point, right? Like if that's all you saw
to break contract, to breach her contract.
Yeah, but that's the part they don't. You know what I mean? Like nobody goes into, right? Like that's not the statement Disney's saying. Like, oh, of course we breached her contract. Disney's like, we gave her 20 million. Why isn't she happy?
That's like her saying, I'm not going to do the movie, and they're like, well, give us this advance we gave you back because we had a contract.
Exactly. But that's how effective the propaganda of big business is. Again, they have more money. They own a bunch of networks, right? To put out to filter out that statement, and why that becomes more effective, right?
Where what's crazy? What's even crazier is that gets put out, and then the public
reacts to that.
Reaction is, why is she being so greedy?
Yes,
she already got her 20 million. These actors, these Hollywood A-listers, all they want is the money. They don't care. They have these liberal causes, but all they care about is their money. Instead of like, dude, like you have a job. If your company did that to you, wouldn't you? Let's bring that to our level. If our company, any company we work for, could very easily do that to us.
Yes.
We're the laborers, the talent, colors, whatever.
Yeah.
But it happens every day. It's the same thing. It's just at a larger scale and millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars.
This is a great conversation. I love it. My question is, and it happens all the time, right? Where people go, oh, it's you can use it for sports. Oh, it's the Shield. Oh, it's the UFC. Oh, it's why is it that so many employees and laborers so often take the side of the company? Like this, I've personally never understood
capitalism that. Because America,
right? That's it, right? It's just that simple. Like, is it really? It's like, hey, bro, but you struggle. Like, if you don't get paid on the 15th, that 16th, you're dead broke. That company isn't dead broke. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but I'll give you the next talking point, which is like, I want to earn it. I don't want to be given anything. I don't want EBT cards. I don't want food stamps. I don't want government cheese. Come on, just keep giving me stuff. I just keep giving you the same talking points. And
it's so crazy.
Unfortunately, this stuff usually like falls on it. All this stuff falls on political lines, right?
Right.
We know the people that have those things to say that I just said, they usually fall on the more conservative side, and then the left-leaning people will say the other stuff, right? But
it's weird, right? Because I think that happens to a certain dollar amount, that talking point, right? Because those same people won't have that talking point for Scarlett Johansson because she makes 20 million, right? She's still the employee, right? Like she earned her money, and her contract said you're supposed to give me money on the back end when this gets released to theaters. The company broke the contract, but now your talking point is, why Scarlett Johansson complaining? Like that kind of mental jujitsu always blows my mind. You know what I mean? Where they're like, no, it's I'm definitely for the company. Oh, why is the employee complaining? You got to pick yourself up by the bootstraps. Scarlett Johansson's been where she's a child. This is all she's ever known. So she should be punished because she's successful, and the company that's more successful should be protected. Like it's that is dichotomy the right word? Is dichotomy the right word I'm looking for? I think so. I'm gonna go with it. The
juxtaposition of that, sure. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So like you said, the mental jiu-jitsu, mental gymnastics is it's kind of incredible because we talk about, since I brought up the thing about politics and people with those views are on the more conservative side, and then liberals are more of like, supporting labor unions and workers and employees, etc.
Even I think liberals do that to a point though. I don't think they like go all the way like, oh, give us everything. I think they do it where like they have empathy to a point, but then like, oh no, you're making too much money because I don't like your point of view. That's you know what I mean? Like it's all and that's me from like a progressive, you know what I mean? Like it's all like to a point, like okay, but I don't like you, so all those points that I just said don't work anymore. Now
I'm making too much money too, so let's I become a little more conservative with my point of view.
Exactly. When that tax bracket goes up a little bit, it becomes it turns red. It turns red a little bit. Yeah,
it does
100%. All right, I'll cut you off, go ahead.
But no, so like along those political lines or points of views are, bigger and smaller government, right? Where conservatives want smaller government, liberals are all for more social programs. So essentially they're for more government intervention. Yet the conservatives or the people that support the talking points about, as far as like, pick myself up by the bootstraps, they want less government, but they want to give more power to the corporations.
Yes.
They support the billionaires. Want less government involvement. They support the billionaires because they earned it and they did it their way and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Then they support, and then they don't support the employees as much. But I'm like, but the majority of us are employees.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand this. Like you said, the mental jiu-jitsu, the gymnastics that you do to like, we don't want big government, but all these big corporations, they're doing it. They're great. Let's give them all the power over employees. Yeah. I'm a part of that group, the employee group. Like most people that have these
99%. 99%. Yeah. Like very rarely do you have that a conversation with an owner, right? Like an owner, especially you'll have small business owners that when you go, you socialize with. Yeah, that happens, like your local landscape or stuff like that. Yeah, 100%. But that is a very different perspective than the ones who gets to sit down with these high-powered officials and gives them a little bit of donation and gives them their talking points of what it is, and then I guess we regurgitate it back, and then it's an effective propaganda wheel. That's like, people listen to this conversation like, yo, they're crazy. Like, what are they talking about? Like, this is just like, to me, this is just how it works. Like, I don't understand how it's not seen. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, like these multinational corporations give congressmen on the left or the right a ton of money, and then they say all these things that are pro corporations, and then we get that spoon fed, and then we eat it all up, and we become pro corporation when we're like, hey, remember, we're the employee. Like, wait a second, I'm defending you up there when I'm down here trying to figure this crap out.
Yeah, like, I didn't mean to make it political. The only reason I did was because I started doing some internet sleuthing, and I was like, let me see. And so I started, going down the Twitter rabbit hole and looking at tweets of what people responded. I was like, okay, this person responded this way. Let me go click on his profile or her profile and see. And then I looked at their past tweets, and I'm like, oh, so this is your kind of like thought, your perspective on things, your political leanings, you go this way. And then I looked at someone that had an opposite respond, and I did that to a couple people,
and
they usually fall along those lines. Not to generalize, some people were
anecdotal. Yeah.
But what I noticed for like those 10-15 minutes was a lot of those people had also conservative points of views, and in other areas. As I started doing some Twitter stalking other profiles just to see how they felt about other topics.
Yeah, it's right down party lines basically. It's just weird, right? Because like the the argument of the employee or of the employer is always so much stronger than that for the employee, for whatever. And people again, like we've heard it in the past. Oh, but like, this player makes $30 million a year. What are they complaining about? That player makes $30 million a year. They can't complain. But this person makes $300 million a year. Oh, we got to protect them. Like how can they possibly have complaint? We need to give them safety nets. We need to give them more money because then they won't give us money. It's like you're just giving them more power, right? Like you can't. The $30 million guy better
You're diluting your rights.
Yeah, better stay quiet. But this $300 million person, they gotta be defended at all costs. And $300 million, Disney would be shut down, right? Like we're talking about a multi-billion dollar corporation,
right?
Company, entity, planet that is Disney, right? Because it's his own universe at this point. So for anybody to like be like, oh, how dare she when she's 20 million? I was like, but Disney made who knows how many hundreds of millions from the $30 fee that they charge for Disney Plus. First of all, $30 for a movie at home is insane. Like HBO Max, shout out to them. All my movies are free. Like this weekend, I'll get to watch Suicide Squad for free. You know what I mean? Like I'm already paying the VPN in it. You know what I mean? Like I'm already paying the $15 a month or whatever it is. That should already come with the package. I shouldn't pay the $4.99 for then pay the $30. I've yet to pay for a Disney Plus movie, and I never will. I'll keep the thing and I'll just wait for it to
wait.
What?
So for Black Widow, like if you had Disney Plus, you still had to pay to watch Black Widow when it was released?
Yes, sir. $30.
$30. I guess so you can have a watch party and have like
just
6-7 people there instead of having $8, $9, $10, $12 a ticket, whatever it costs to go to the movies now.
Yeah, exactly. $30, bro. 30.
I mean, that's Amazon does the same thing. Amazon has like some movies, and then they'll like
some you could buy
for this movie.
Yeah, but they also like release movies for free. You know what I mean? Like Disney, I guess Disney Plus did that with that movie Luca, which is not bad, the animated cartoon. Yeah, it was good. I thought a good. I saw the first half. I haven't finished it off yet. We started watching other stuff, but like to pay that $30 is to ask me to pay you $5 a month, and then ask me to pay you another $30 when I could just wait. When I already know I could wait 4 months and it's gonna be free. You know what I mean? Like, and then if you're gonna charge the $30, then give Scarlett Johansson a percentage. You know what I mean? Like, of that, and like because people get money for the views. I don't know. I thought it was just weird, and I don't. Obviously, this podcast we've established that we're not pro corporate or pro Disney to that level, right? Like we understand capitalism is a thing and all that stuff, but like for them to not just pay Scarlett Johansson extra $20 million because that's probably all it would have come down to not have this bad PR was just bad business. I don't know. I thought it was stupid.
I'm still going to. I have the Disney Plus package, right? I have Disney Plus, ESPN, Hulu, all Disney companies. They own.
Yeah. Have you watched Dave yet? Please tell me you started watching Dave. You need to start watching Dave. Shout out to Lil Dicky.
Okay, bro, I've seen a couple commercials for it or ads for it. Yeah,
solid show, man.
That's what I hear.
Solid show. I really like it. I'm a big fan of Lil Dicky.
What's next on the agenda? I think we beat up Scarlett Johansson. Not that we're women beaters.
Whoa, hey, no, I definitely beat up the
Scarlett. We beat up the Scarlett Johansson topic.
Yeah, don't say it like that. Yeah, hey, when you cut this up later, cut that in there, like how you did me with the Simone Biles thing. Like, do that.
I didn't have to do it. You said it.
Yeah, because I was roasting the Russian guy who definitely did roids. Like, it wasn't. You know what I mean?
I don't know how you made that transition from talking about the guy who was on roids to be like, and this Simone Biles thing where she just practically quit on her team. I'm like, where did that come from?
First of all, that's not what I said. I heard you paraphrasing me. I definitely elaborated in the next 28 minutes of the clip. But next,
change your mind.
You brought up the Olympics.
I was doing my best. I was doing my best Crowder.
just put the camera on somebody else. Put the camera on Snowball. Just start.
Simone Biles didn't quit. Change my mind.
Change my mind. Yeah. Shout out to Simone Biles getting the bronze. I thought that was we'll start with that, then we'll go with the 400-meter stuff.
Yeah,
I thought that was an amazing performance, man. It was like for her to come back, especially knowing now, like I don't know if you saw the article where like she lost her aunt passed away, right? Like while she was in Japan. So she had a lot of stuff going on and a lot of triggers happening. like the more you read into it, is just I didn't watch the Andrew Schultz reaction to it. I watched that after because I don't like that influencing what I'm talking about, because then like I'll react to his reaction and it's not necessary. But I thought her coming up and like not doing any twists, I thought it was amazing. Like it's a great send off for her to get bronze over behind the two Chinese teenagers, right? And it's incredible, man. Like for her to come back from that, from like taking a week off of like basically being mentally defeated and needing therapy, right? And it made me think about a lot of things, right? Like sports psychology is a thing, right? Like like I think teams have them on staff. It's a thing that people need. Like it's not something to be downtrodden, beaten up on, or made fun of, or all these different things, right? It's a thing that people need. It's like therapy. Like it's just a different way. It's not just dealing with depression. It's a different way to understand how you react to certain things and how to process things differently. That's it. It's just taking an outsider's perspective. It's not
so
just.
That's a thing. I don't know if teams do have it.
I think they refer to them sometimes though. Like they
I know they have team doctors and they have physical therapists, and they have the people that you go to
surgeons
in between quarters to stick cortisone shots in your
knees. I don't know if
so
they have them in
back
game.
out there.
Yeah, but like
but they need to become a normalized part of these teams where like they have someone there at all times, or even like have some kind of mandatory. I can't say have mandatory, but these leagues and sports should have something where talking to a therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist is normalized.
Yes.
That it's okay to go talk to someone, so that you don't get to this point where like you feel that if you go talk to someone, go talk to a therapist, then you are the outsider, the weak one, the person that
something's wrong with you. You're broken.
Something's wrong with you. So if they normalize it, and just like they have physical therapists and other people on call, like during the games, they have other staff. And they should do the same thing for those type of people, therapists and psychologists.
Perfect example. Somebody needing sports psychology is a Ben Simmons, right? Like somebody who's
like a monk.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to roast him or anything like. Well, like he clearly has some kind of confidence issue. Confidence is a mental health issue, right? Because not having confidence means insecurity. Insecurity is mental health. Let's find the root of that insecurity and let's figure it out, and all these different things. Again, I go to therapy. I have no shame at all talking about it. Like I talk to my therapist about everything, right? Like there's nothing I hold back, and I'm very honest. And because like I have an understanding of my faults and my issues and things I need to work on. So I bring them to the therapist. Like, how can I work on this? Tell me different perspectives on how to look at it. And like I could talk to my friends about it, but it's still not a licensed professional to be like, because if you talk to your friends about it, people think like, oh, it'll be cathartic to you. But to them, it's like, okay, but how do I help this person? Like, it's like, now what am I supposed to say? And you're just gonna be like, oh man, that most of the time you're like, oh man, that sucks. I'm really sorry you're going through that.
Exactly.
That, you know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna get like, oh, have you ever thought about thinking about it like this? Because if somebody like, let's say if we talked about something personal, right? And I tell you all these different things, which we talk about all the time off air. And I tell you these things, and we're like, oh man, have you ever thought about thinking like this? Like, I might not receive that the same. But like, yo, but why is John telling me to change my mind? Like, what the, you know what I mean? Like, you get defensive, you get sent.
Absolutely. That's why I told you I'm not giving people advice anymore.
Yeah, well, you can't.
Because they're like, yeah, but I'm gonna do it my way anyway. I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's
I'm gonna just become a consultant, and then I can get paid to do this shit.
Exactly. So it's crazy. Like, a therapist in psychology isn't something to be made fun of for,
absolutely,
or said they're broken or go on Twitter rants about in an English accent when you only have one eye. You know what I mean? We don't need to say who that's about. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. Like, it's unnecessary. And I just think it's weird. It's like, it's because mental health issues, and I don't even want to say issues, right? Mental health is looked at as something's wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes, there is something wrong. And I need help with these things. Like, if I broke my leg, I'd go to a physical, I'd go to a physical therapist. Something's wrong. Like, this is a thing you can't see. Yeah, my leg didn't break like Paul George or Willis McGahee, but yo, man, like, because my leg broke like this, I might need confidence back to learn how to walk again, and all these different things. Confidence is not something you get from a physical therapist. You get those things from a therapist, right? Because it's retraining your mind to be like, nah, man, your leg's fine. You're gonna be all right. Yes, Ben Simmons, you can make that layup. Take that shot. You know what I mean?
Take that clear dunk.
Take that clear dunk.
Don't pass it up because you think you're going to get fouled, and then you're not going
to go to the free throw line. Why do you have these issues at the free throw line? Where's that stem from? Where's all these different questions? Simone Biles, why did you have the twisties? Why couldn't you have what caused you to have that lack of confidence in yourself when you've shown success in the past? Like, these are the questions that you talk about and you ask yourself, and you're not talked about it or roasted on Twitter about it. You're talking to somebody who's a professional, who has the only vested interest is learning how to get yourself better and them helping you. That's it.
Yeah, that's like you said. They're licensed, obviously, but it's not about being licensed. They're a disinterested third party, right?
Yes.
They're not a friend.
Best way to say it. Yes.
They're not a friend who might just be like, that sucks, I don't know how to help you. Or they might even be like, why are you telling me this? I can't help you.
Mm-hmm.
Or they'll just give you some BS or whatever, like, oh, man, what? Because if your friend tells you something else, then you might react a certain way. Like you said, you might be, well, why is he telling me to change my mind? Or why is he telling me I just unloaded on this
or
dude.
not, or walk it off, knock it off. I
just wanted him to listen and not say anything back, whatever. Where a therapist, you're not going to react that way because he's not your buddy. He's there to listen. He's not going to share that with anyone else. And they're there to listen. He or she is there to listen. And the advice they're giving you is for what they think based on their experience and in their education and other people that they've counseled, I'm sure, what's in your best interest. Not because they're telling you something to make you feel good about yourself just because.
Yes.
And
they're not just trying, they're trying to help. Like, the thing that people think that, I don't know, I can't say what people think therapy is, right? But the thought I had before therapy, right, was like, oh, this person is gonna fix me. No, that's not what therapy is. Right? Like, this other person isn't going to heal up all those wounds and all that stuff that happens. Just like it teaches you how to process and understand those wounds and look at them through a different lens and different perspective, right? Like, all this different trauma, anything, depression, anything, anxiety, anything, right? Like, those things are needed, right? It's not this other person. You can't go into it with a dependence of like, oh, this person, I talked to this therapist and I'm gonna be fine, right? It's about being honest with yourself and having those honest conversations. And I just thought it was weird, like, the reaction to it, and like, just like, oh no, so she's fine now that she could get on the balance beam. Like, man, she probably talked to somebody in that week, right? Like, there was probably, like, they're in Japan. They probably have a sports psychologist, somebody there to talk to. You know what I mean? That has been a week that she can rely on and be like, look, these are the things that I'm dealing with, and just gave her enough confidence and enough, like, you know what I mean, want to be okay. You know what? I can try it again. That's hard, dude, because like, her mental health took a hit on the biggest stage when she was the number, because Michael Phelps isn't there. There's no big star. Like, yeah, there might be big stars coming out of this, but there wasn't any big stars going into it, right? Like, the next biggest star is what, maybe Kevin Durant. You know what I mean? Like, there isn't that big of a star. There isn't a Michael Phelps or Usain Bolt to like shield her from the attention. She was the attention. She was the main event. She was the main attraction. She was it. And this happened. It was like, that's a huge moment. And then she had everybody's reaction. And they were like, oh, you're just mentally weak and all this other crap. I'm like, dude, like, you think she wanted this? Like, you think, like, that's not something anybody wants. I don't know. It was crazy.
She's been on the stage before. Not only has she been on the stage before, she has been undefeated for like 5 years, with the exception of 2017, where I think she took some time off after the Rio Olympics and she got beat. But before the Olympics, she dominated when she got onto the scene when she was like 14 years old. Or
the only reason she wasn't on the Olympic team in 2012 was because she was too young.
I think she was like 13, 12. I don't know. She was like, she could, if she was like 15, she would have been on there. But then and had a couple other people there that were, pretty good.
Yeah, Gabby Douglas is. I mean, Gabby Douglas just gets passed over like she was nothing. But there was other, like, she would have been on a team with Gabby Douglas if she was old enough. She wasn't, so she qualified for the 2016, and history is what it is.
And she's been untouchable. She's been completely untouchable, with the exception of 2017 when she took some time off after Rio. She's doing things that no other women can do, and only a couple, maybe a handful of men have attempted or can do. 3 moves named after her.
You think that's
she's
what
been
it is?
on the stage? She's been on the Olympic stage. She's been on the World Championship stage. So it's not just I don't have, like, people approached it and all the vitriol that she's getting online and on these sports shows and everything else, and everyone's opinion about how weak she is.
Yeah.
She has been doing it. She's almost on the stage time after time after time.
When you're not watching.
So obviously there's something that happened. Something happened.
Yeah.
That triggered her. And like you said, I saw the headline about family
tragedy.
A family tragedy. And so I figured, you mentioned that it was her aunt passing away. Yeah, I would think that would be a big issue, especially if that aunt is someone that you're close to, your mom or your father's sister. I didn't read the article, so I can't speak intelligently about it, but that's a close family member, and that's a close family member. It affected her, I'm sure, and that with the pressure and everything else, all that stuff adds up. Like there's just more. Who it's happened? Who was the basketball player that I think he ended up missing a game in Boston? He went to.
We don't even have to say Boston. We can go back to Kyrie Irving.
To the Cavs.
We can go back to Kyrie Irving at the beginning of the year. Kyrie Irving at the beginning of the year took some mental health time after like another black person was killed, right? And you were talking about Delonte West. You're talking about Delonte West, the one.
No, Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah,
his sister was killed in a car accident, and he left. He didn't play a game or two because his sister
in the playoffs.
Killed. In the playoffs.
Yep.
And I mean, she was in Japan where you couldn't have family, friends. They're limiting how many people can be. No people can be in the stands, or certain people can be in the stands, but not people from overseas. So she had no one to deal with that.
Yep.
She had no family, no one to help get her through that. It's not as simple as she choked.
No,
we get it. Yeah, that was the biggest stage, and that's one of the things that make people the greatest of all times, because you have these things that you persevere through or whatever. But
I think Andrew Schultz made a great point, right? When he first reacted to it, because he elaborated 20 minutes. It wasn't just the initial reaction, right? Michael Jordan had Trump. Michael Jordan won 3 straight titles. His father was killed.
His father was killed.
He took a mental health break. We didn't talk about it the way it was. Yeah, 2 years. He took 2 years away from basketball. That's we're just gonna gloss right over that. Oh, but he came back. Yeah, but Simone Biles isn't in a sport where a 28-year-old can come back. Like, she might be, but we've seen the vitriolic reaction to her taking a mental health stance. Like, why should she? We're in a different time, right? Like, and you think people like and it was weird, right? Like, in that same conversation that Akash Singh and Andrew Schultz had, like, people were like, "Oh, but she shouldn't be wearing like goat jerseys or goat." Like, Nike made that for her. She is the greatest of all time because she has the most Olympic.
She didn't sew it on.
Yeah, she didn't.
Nike made it for her because everyone else calls her the GOAT, and so they figured, hey, let's
monetize this. Yeah, like it's not. You know what I mean? Like, it's again like blaming the employee for the employer's actions, right? Like,
now I get this, right? Because one of the things that she was asked in a press conference was, "Hey, do you think you can? Who's going to challenge you? Or you can be? Do you think you could be beaten?" She's like, "I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can be beaten." And then so they're like, "Oh, you're putting that pressure on yourself." I was like, "Wait, no, hold on a second, because isn't that what we want in America? Don't we want our athletes to be confident and cocky and be like, that's right, no one can beat me, I'm unbeatable." Now,
Jordan's a killer.
Now,
Kobe got that mom.
Yeah, she's got that mama mentality. But now she put that pressure on herself. So which is it? Do you want the athletes to do that, or do you not want them to do that?
Mental jujitsu, son. Mental jujitsu.
Be consistent with your message.
It doesn't, though. It never stays consistent. Again, it's all situational, which is fine, right? But don't like mama mentality is like, yo, nobody can beat me. If I'm on my A game, can't nobody touch me. But where's the lie? And 0.0% of that is the lie. And it's true. If Simone Biles, again, it's a whole lot of what ifs. Her aunt doesn't pass away. All these triggers, not having her family, COVID, Japan 2 weeks before everybody's supposed to fly out. They cancel any kind of international fans coming in because they really shut down for COVID. A multitude of different things don't happen. She's on her A game. She has a family support. She has her family there. So she does have those triggers. She has somebody to rely on. She goes out there and balls out, right? Like, let's be 100% real about it. She balls out. She goes out as the goatest of the goats. for Olympic gymnastics, right? And then, but again, these things happen, and other things are meant to happen, and variables occurred, and this happened. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so weird. Like, it's like, I don't even know if we need to touch on, like, do you want to talk about like the 400-meter stuff? Because like, I feel like that's
I do. I think we went crazy on Simone Biles, no pun intended, or maybe a little bit intended.
You're such a dark man. All right.
I know I am. That's why he loves me, I think.
No, your wife loves you, yeah. Let's all right, let's switch it up a little. Let's end it with something light, man, because we did go a little heavy with that. We had a 200-meter final this morning, right? Thank you for spoiling it for me, which I was gonna watch later, but Twitter would have done it anyway. If you haven't seen it, it would have already, by the time you listen or watch this podcast, it would have already played the second time.
8:55 a.m. August 4th, Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, now
I watched it on NBC Online. Like, you only get 30. I don't have the NBC app or the Peacock app or whatever it's called.
Terrible,
so I get 30 minutes. 30,
Terrible for an app.
I get 30 minutes at a time.
Just call it NBC, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why call it Peacock? It's just weird.
Whatever. That was the original thing back in like the 50s, 60s, whatever it was.
The little logo. It's still weird. Yeah, so I watched the race. You have it pulled up. I saw it open on the tab. That's I'll watch it again for the third time. It's
which one was that?
The 400-meter final.
I don't know that I had it.
Did you have the hurdles?
But I can go to. I will
watch the hurdles again, son, because that was amazing.
Yeah.
The female hurdles,
the men or the women?
The women. I thought the women was more interesting. The men was over from the jump.
Yeah, he led the whole way.
Karsten Warholm, shout out to him.
Shout out to his parents for naming for that name.
Carson
Warholm sounds like someone is about to run you over with a tank. Carson Warholm
sounds like a real life superhero.
Huh. Or a villain. I don't know. It could go either way.
Yeah, anti-hero, maybe an anti-hero. Oh, it's Karsten Warholm. Oh, that's such a superhero, man. Somebody needs to make DC Marvel, make a comic of that guy, bro. Just use his real name. Don't even gotta do nothing with that. Karsten Warholm with the super gold beat his time by points over a half a second, like 0.76.
0.76 seconds.
Yeah,
he beat his own world record. Yeah,
John, you ran. You could give me a better perspective than the listeners, right? How insane is that? He beat his own world record by almost a second.
No, it's incredible. I mean, and so did Ry Benjamin, by the way. He beat that record too. I'm gonna pull a clip from NBC Sports. I don't know if it's the one. So, which one did you want to watch? The men or the women?
The women, the Delilah Muhammad versus Sydney McLaughlin, because that was closer, right? That was a little bit closer.
That was a lot closer. It came down to.
Well, the Karsten Warholm Ry Benjamin was not close.
There was a 0.0.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here we go. I'm going to share the screen. So again, this stuff is free. If you don't have NBC, you get 30 minutes for free, and then they stop your feed and they give you the message that you gotta
pay.
Pay. Sign up. So I just close my browser and start again. And then there's nothing wrong or illegal about that. They just, if you want continuous, so I'm like, okay, I'll deal with like a 30-second whatever.
Open
and close it and open it up again.
Yeah.
So let me share my screen again. This is for
400-meter hurdle final.
Hurdles. There isn't any copyright infringement here. This is solely for the discussion that we're having right on the show.
Yeah. Shout out to this 10-year difference, dude, between Sydney McLaughlin and
there's a 0.04 second difference between them. I mean, Delilah Muhammad, I think, shocked everyone with how well she ran. I mean, she was right before McLaughlin came on the scene. She was the 400-meter runner.
Yep.
And I mean, 0.04 seconds. She went under world record time too. The previous one.
Yeah, until what was it when Sydney McLaughlin ran under 52, right?
Yeah, but they both ran under 52 today.
No, but Cindy McLaughlin was the first woman ever to run under 52 six weeks ago. 6 weeks later at the trials, 6 weeks later, this happened.
And then they both crushed it.
And then they both 1-2.
I hope that this has the entire race and not just like a little bit.
And look, 5 minutes. Yeah, so it should have the whole race.
Are you able to see this now?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right, so here we go. I'm gonna play it. They have a little commentary, and then the race starts, I think, soon after. Here we go.
You'll make that full screen.
In third, yeah.
Yeah, she came in third, and like because she had that last kick, she was literally dead last for the last 100 meters, and then she like sprinted out of her mind and made it third. Like a thing Mo just had that stride, and I was like, oh, a thing Mo must be 8 feet taller than her. And then you see them next to each other doing the interview when they're gold and bronze. They're exactly the same height. That gait and that pace is so crazy, man. It was such
from the beginning too.
Yeah, you can see it from the get-go. Like you can see she was gone. Like, oh, there's nobody the two women from Great Britain tried. I was like, no. Ain't nobody touching a thing out here. Ain't nobody touching a thing out here in these streets.
Okay.
Yeah. A thing.
I see what you're trying to do.
You see that? You see what I did there?
She's 19, man.
19.
That British runner is also 19.
Yeah.
Who came in second.
They're gonna be rivals for a while. Like I think 800 meters is something you could stay in for a while, right? Because it's a continue, like it's a longer distance. It's not necessarily a sprint, so it's not so much a young person's game. Is that right or wrong?
That's the 800 meters is the worst sprint of all because it's not 400 meters. Like,
so
okay,
I'm wrong,
one lap.
So I'm wrong. Okay.
as you get older,
right?
Like these runners that are in the mile or the 800 meters, some of them progress to the 5K or marathon or 10K because you still have to keep a pretty fast pace, but you're like, okay, not as fast as
right.
The 800 is essentially it's just a little bit slower. A 400 just a little bit slower twice. It's essentially almost all out for 2 laps. Like your body doesn't even know how to. Your body wants to quit. Your heart wants to come out. You want to throw up. Like these runners, that's what you want to do. I felt that way during a track workout when I ran cross country.
Yeah.
Just to like help improve my speed. We would do 800 workouts. I would be sometimes dry heaving. I had a friend that I ran cross country with who
our boy
during not a workout, but during
our boy.
Yeah, our boy. I'm not gonna put him out there like that. After an actual race, he went out so hard. He ran a hell of a race. After the race, he threw up.
Yeah.
I think he hadn't run that fast before. But yeah, the 800 meter is that type of race. It's almost like it's just a 400 that's slowed down by just a little bit. So imagine that doing 2 400s. No, and the type of shape they're in, and it's the craziest race.
I'm gonna try. You know what?
The most painful one.
Not mind you, like
you try to do that. You go try to run an 800 and be like, let me see what a 400 is like, and I'm gonna slow down.
You know what?
I'm gonna slow this down by a little bit.
I think there's a track at the high school, and I think before school starts next in a couple of weeks, I'm gonna try to find that track and I'm gonna see what that's like. Now, listen, I'm gonna keep it 100 here, right? If I could do 200 without stopping, I feel pretty good. To try to run an 8, you know what I mean? Like baby steps. But yeah, I think that'd be a good because I can't run like down my street because like I could break a leg with all the holes and stuff. Not even my street, my sand. So we'll figure it out. But yeah, man, yo, that Cindy McLaughlin, Delilah Muhammad was amazing to watch. Like that was amazing for like literally 6 weeks ago. No woman had ever run under 52. 6 weeks later, you have 2 women that ran 50, 150 and lower. That's insane, bro. That's insane. Yeah, man. I got nothing else, brother. You got something?
No, man. I'm good. Good talk.
Yes.
We got a little carried away with
I mean, that's
Simone Biles. To tell you the truth, I didn't watch. I told you I don't watch the Olympics. Really, when I watch the Summer Olympics, it's for track because I follow track, regardless of it whether it's an Olympic year or not. And but I did read that obviously Simone got silver, bronze. Also, what I did read was that she's keeping her mind open to the 2024 Olympics. Remember, this one got pushed back just a little over a year, like August.
Yes, it's only 2.5 years away.
So it's what? Yeah,
maybe 3.
A little less than 3 years away.
A little less than 3, yeah.
26, 27.
She could do it.
Her other events where she dominates, you know, unless someone pulls something and they start creating moves that are named after them, or they start mastering these moves that Simone is doing now.
Yep.
she might still be the favorite, even at 27 years old.
If she's still at it,
maybe it's a redemption story, whatever the media wants to make it.
The movie writes itself there, bro. The movie absolutely writes itself. All right, man, we got nothing else. Till next time, peace.